Alright, this is gonna be a hot take, and before I even start this, I need to tell you that I'm not making this video for the purpose of shaming you. I'm not making this video for the purpose of flaming. I'm making this video because I'm a passionate gamer for my favorite game, Black Desert Online. And in this video, what you're gonna see is a lot of emotion. It's gonna be a lot of potential misunderstanding from everybody's end, really. And I want you guys to know that none of what I say is meant to really come out as offensive. So, with that said, this is gonna be brutal. All right, so let me get this straight. Awakening Wusa. Obviously, the title suggests what we're going to talk about today, but we're going to talk also a lot of stuff. So here's the thing, guys. You can't have a class that has been in 6 months development and a class that is on release so bad to the point where it's unplayable. All right, so I want really to elaborate a little bit onto this because it's very important for everybody listening to this video. Let's go back to Nova really quick. Do you remember Nova, the way Nova was released? Do you guys remember how pristine that was as an experience, really? Let me just revise to that position. If you guys don't know, if you haven't played when Nova was released, let me tell you something. Nova was released without her succession. Nova was put in an absolute state. There was nothing more about Nova than this. Pearl Abyss was in the perfect position of making the right choices for its player base. Nowadays, they've shifted towards putting out a prime class, essentially a succession, and we want you to play it like this, and there is no other way that we want you to play it, which is a horrible way to really go about game design to begin with. When Nova was released, they started working on her awakening immediately, and this was just the perfect way to design a class because you could study what the players liked, and what they did was brilliant at that time. They studied the fact that Nova players were complaining about her speed, so they gave the Nova player that wanted to go mick literally went into the opposite direction, the exact polar opposite, and they made the fastest class in the entire game. Great stuff. And for the person that loved the Succession Nova, the way her pre-awakening worked, what they did was fantastic. They capitalized upon the abilities that were loved by the player base, they polished the rest, and they added a damn demon that would shoot out shit from the sky. Everybody is happy. Yes, Succession Nova sucks. Yes, Awakening Nova is a little bit iffy, except on 2 spots. This is out of the question here. This is an observation of how exactly you're supposed to release a class. Not like Wusa. You're not supposed to really constrain your player base into playing the playstyle that you want. What happened with the way of flowing water? What happened with the player literally figuring this stuff out as they go, and you as a developer literally keep the boundaries of that so that the player wouldn't break it? What happened to this? What happened with the great class design? What happened to Sage, Awakening, and Succession? 2 of the most brilliant things ever put in the game. What happened with this types of class design? What I'm saying here, guys, is something very simple. I want good classes for everybody. And I know I'm one of the biggest trash talkers for Wusa, but you need to understand that I'm not trash talking the people that play Wusa. In fact, more power to them because they have to be the voice of the class. They need to be the people that say, this is bad, this is good, we want this, we want that. But instead what happens is none of their voices are being heard, and what you're doing is you're keeping the constraint onto the class. You're just doing whatever you feel like doing, just the direction that you feel like you want to do it. From Pearl Abyss, that is. And the same thing we see with Awakening Wusa. Where is the ability for the players to trigger the traps when needed? All of them. Where is the accessibility of the class? Where is the idea, the design of it all? Instead, what you're delivering to the players is essentially the alpha version of Maegu, which I'm sure you scrapped, and this is what you salvaged from it. And I'm willing to take that jab onto Pearl Abyss because it really feels like it really feels like a Maegu that's not finished. It really feels Maegu's movements, but with nothing to them. Why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? I want Pearl Abyss to go back to the situation, back to the times rather, that they actually released their classes in the absolute state, not the prime succession state, and I want them to start studying the player base and capitalize on what we love. Because when Wusa got marketed, the main thing about the class and spec was the fans world, like the whoof whoof type of thing, right? That's actually a filler ability and nobody uses it. Instead, what we have is essentially this what we have right now with Wusa Awakening. a spec that is unplayable, and because it's unplayable, because of its sheer design, the damage is there, we just don't have access to it, they're gonna buff it out of their minds so that it works. Why? Pearl Abyss, why? One ability is what Wusa needs to succeed. Trigger the traps on demand. As impactful as that would be in PvP and PvE, you can balance it afterwards. I love you guys. I'm not making this video to be a nuisance. I make this video because I genuinely care about the game, and seeing these rookie stupid mistakes makes no sense at all.